Hello everyone. Today I am talking all about topical steroid withdrawal syndrome. This is a condition that a lot of people experience after using steroids, usually topically, for a long period of time, whether it's once a week, once a month, every day, for a period of time. And what this condition is once you stop using the topical steroid, your skin comes back and flares up with a vengeance, and it looks so much worse and is so much more painful than while you were on the steroids. So the purpose of this video is to just explain a little bit about the science of what's happening when you're using steroids, what steroids actually do to the body. And then I want to share with you some natural tips and remedies that you can use to calm down and quiet the flare up. So just to jump into the video, when you are using a topical steroid, the effects that steroids have is they actually elevate your cortisol. The problem with this is that cortisol, when it's created and produced in proper amounts in the body, is actually very anti-inflammatory. So cortisol's purpose is to bring inflammation down. When you are experiencing chronic stress or are using steroids chronically, it actually elevates your cortisol levels and you end up with cortisol resistance or poor cortisol receptor function in the body. This means that you have too much cortisol circulating the system, which actually becomes inflammatory. So using steroids, once if you have a massive allergic reaction or something like that can be helpful because it surges cortisol, which can help bring inflammation down. But when it's being used chronically, it ends up actually having the opposite reaction than what we want. And that's why steroids should never be used chronically. And unfortunately, that's never mentioned to people from their doctors. The other thing to note, and the more important thing to note, is the effects that it has on the immune system. So I've actually made a video talking quite a bit on the different components and cells of the immune system, mainly Th1 and Th2 immune cells, which play a critical role in autoimmune disease and in skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, and other things. So I also have some information on this topic on my blog, www.holisticspring.com. You can just, on the blog tab, just in the search bar, search Th1 or Th2, and you'll find more information on this, just because I don't want this video to be super long. But the thing to note is that our immune system has many different components, and the two main ones are the Th1 and Th2 immune cells that are produced for different purposes in the body. We always want to maintain a good balance with our Th1 and our Th2 immune system so that we have perfect and proper pathogen killing and immune function. When we are on chronic steroids actually elevate the Th2 side of our immune system and suppress our Th1 side of the immune system. So what this means for you is that the Th2 side, which is more inflammatory and actually leads to tissue destruction, is elevated, whereas the Th1 immune cells or immune system, which is anti-inflammatory and actually scans our body for viruses, pathogens, and even cancer cells, gets suppressed. And so you end up with a major imbalance within your immune system when you are on steroids. And this imbalance tips you towards that Th2 dominance, which then can cause tissue destruction. So when you've been using steroids for a while and it's kind of tipping you towards that Th2 and elevating your cortisol, which is leading to cortisol resistance, your body can no longer uptake cortisol properly and it ends up becoming inflammatory versus anti-inflammatory. So when that starts to happen after chronic steroid use and then all of a sudden you stop taking steroids, you are left with a very, very, very inflamed and out of balance system. So your body is overrun with inflammation and it's so tipped towards that Th2 immunity that it cannot bring its inflammation down unless you assist the body. So you end up with a massive flare because your immune system is so out of balance. So that's the first thing to know. Again, there's so much more immunology to this that I don't have time to explain in a simple video, but I do have a lot of content on this topic typed up between all of my different blogs and platforms if you'd like to learn more. So that's the first thing, is really important to know, is the effects, the bad negative effects that chronic steroid use has on your immune system. Now, whether you have eczema or psoriasis that's flaring up really bad after getting off of steroids, it doesn't matter. There's still that immune process that's happening where your body's attacking soft tissue, where there's elevated inflammation, and your body is not good at killing off pathogens now. So you kind of end up with like a very dysbiotic gut, and you have a lot of dysbiosis happening because your immune system, your Th2 side is so high, your Th1 side is so low. Your body's not good at killing pathogens anymore, and you're just so inflamed. And so at this point, you can actually get into what we call a cytokine storm. Your body goes into full-blown inflammation. Your interleukin-6 and your inflammatory cytokine levels are through the roof. Usually there's elevated eosinophils and all kinds of other immune cells. Now, don't worry about all this terminology. What you need to know at the end of the day is your body's highly inflamed, and you need to do things to bring that inflammation down and bring balance back to the immune system. So what can you do? If you are experiencing the TSW condition, topical steroid withdrawal syndrome, here's a couple things to do. Number one, a lot of times your skin will feel burning and in pain. So use cold compresses. Frozen bags of peas, ice packs, whatever you need to put on your body to keep your skin cool will help to soothe the skin. What I personally love to do is take an aloe leaf that you can buy from your store or buy a plant and cut it at home and open up the leaf. Keep the leaf in the fridge so it's really cold. So you peel the leaf off and I rub the aloe anywhere on my skin that would be inflamed. Now, I personally never had topical steroid withdrawal syndrome, but I have had eczema and psoriasis, and when they were, in pain and burning, aloe really helped to soothe, especially when it's cold. Okay, so tip number 2, keep your skin hydrated. I actually love using EMU oil. It's EMU oil. It's not vegan, but for me, it's so nourishing and hydrating, and it's so softening that it really did help. And I would add vitamin E oil, just a few drops to the EMU oil. The EMU oil, I would add vitamin E to that. I would also add some other, essential oils, maybe like a frankincense or blue tansy, which are really soothing for the skin. And then I would just apply that top to bottom, wherever I needed it. So those are just some things that you can do to hydrate and keep the skin cool to help with that burning sensation. What you also might consider doing is a hot Epsom salt bath or like a magnesium sulfur bath. This too can help to soothe and relax the skin. However, if you have open wounds, it might not be comfortable for you to sit in a bath that has the salts in it. So keep that in mind, but it definitely can help if you're able to submerge yourself in the water. If your skin is really burning, you might want to do a cooler bath, but baths and water can definitely help. Okay, so what can we do in terms of supplements to stop this? What I need you to know is this is a long process. It's a long journey, and there's no quick solution. You need to bring balance to that immune system, which can take a long time. You want to do Th1 supporting supplements and Th2 down regulating supplements. So that way you're bringing up your Th1 immunity and dropping that Th2 immunity that's been dominant due to the chronic steroid use. So I love using perilla extract. There's a supplement from Pure Encapsulations called Th2 Modulator if you're in the US, or it's called Perilla with N-acetylcysteine if you're in Canada. Both have the same ingredients, both are from the same company, both are sold on puremarket.ca. I will link them down below. It's just a different label to meet the Canada and US standards, so they just have different names. But what is in this is things like bicalin and perilla and N-acetylcysteine. I believe there might be quercetin in there, but I could be wrong. And what these are doing, these are strong Th2 down regulating substances that you can take to bring the Th2 immune system down. Okay, so that's the first thing, is doing something to support that Th2 immune system. The next thing that you want to do is upregulate your Th1 immune system with things like berberine and glutathione and vitamin D, and the list goes on. Rutin, there's all kinds of things that you can do, even lemon balm, to help bring a balance back to the immune system. So again, there's a supplement from Pure Encapsulations called Th1 Modulator if you're in the US, or it's called berberine Immune Support if you are in Canada. I will also link those down below. You can follow bottle dosage unless you're working with a practitioner who can tell you the proper dosage to take of those. Otherwise, just follow the bottle dosage. Those will all be linked down below for you. The other thing to do is to do more stuff that can support your TH1 immunity. Medicinal mushrooms are, to me, a non-negotiable in this situation. So you can either buy chaga powder, or you can buy a mixed medicinal mushroom powder, or you can take it in supplement form. I like the supplement MRS mushroom formula from Pure Encapsulations, also, which would be linked down below. This is a great supplement because it just has a bunch of mushrooms in there that can help boost that TH1 immunity. But you can use any medicinal mushroom supplement you'd like. Aside from that, herbal teas. So things like nettle and dandelion, again, lemon balm, spearmint, and even green tea can be really supporting for your TH1 immune system. So drinking lots of herbal teas throughout the day is so important. And then last but not least, eat very, 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 very alkaline. I'm talking big organic green vegetable portions with every single meal. So breakfast, you're throwing a handful of kale or spinach in a smoothie with maybe even some cauliflower for extra veggies. Your lunch, you're having a big salad of like arugula and veggies with quinoa and maybe some chicken on top. If you can't do raw, you can puree, you can turn them into a soup or steam your vegetables. But get the veggies in. Dinner, same thing. Steamed broccoli, asparagus, other greens with a side of protein or whatever else you like. Between your meals, you should be doing chlorella powder or a liquid chlorophyll, but you need to eat very alkaline, cut out all processed foods, which are very acidic, and all sugary and starchy foods. These are also a non-negotiable. You need to get rid of anything that's been processed in a package or a factory, aside from like whole grains like rice and quinoa. Obviously, those are a little bit processed, but I'm talking about granola bars. Even if they're gluten-free and clean, just cut everything else out. Eat whole, raw foods, farm to table. Proteins, vegetables, healthy fats, fiber. You want to drink plenty of water and get rid of any foods that are allergens like gluten and dairy and sugar, soy, corn, and even nightshades. Nightshades are horrible for the skin. So if you follow these guidelines, you should see some really good improvements in your skin. But remember that it can take a while. The longer you've been using steroids, the harder it's going to be to see results and to see changes, but you'll get there. You just need to tip that immune system back into balance. If you would like to learn more about this, I will leave some links in the description box below that you can access. But long story short, if you've been using steroids chronically, you need to bring balance back to that immune system. You may also need to do a candida or parasite type pathogen cleanse, just because when your TH2 immune system is so high from being on chronic steroids, there's been no pathogen killing happening. So most likely there's a lot of dysbiosis in the gut, which is flaring up the skin really bad. So you might need to do a good cleanse. I will leave my ebook linked in the description box below. It's a seasonal candida and parasite cleanse book with all the supplements you need to get a good cleanse done. You can do that cleanse while taking the immune modulators that I'm linking down below. So lots of stuff to go over, but that's the main gist of it. If you are not addressing that imbalance within the immune system, you're doing it all wrong. The last thing to mention before I sign off is that when you've been on chronic steroid use, your adrenals are not functioning well, and you need to do something for your adrenals to get them to work better and modulate your cortisol better. So a couple things that I like to do are, number one, adaptogens. Ashwagandha and astragalus and even holy basil are the top best adaptogens you can take for that. And I also suggest an adrenal glandular. So you can do TAD Plus from Genestra, which is a bovine adrenal glandular supplement. Obviously, it's not vegan, so if you are vegan, that won't work for you, but it helps to re-stimulate your adrenal glands. So that's all from me. If you have further questions, head to www.holisticspring.org and you guys can leave all the questions you have there and get in-depth answers from me to help guide you on this journey. But this is where I would be starting. And I think if you follow all the tips in this video, the dietary tips and the supplement tips and the topical skin tips, you will start to see some good improvements. Hang in there. You've got this. And I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.